Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
With Veterans Day approaching, Southern Tier businesses are encouraging residents to honor those who served by handing out green light bulbs. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst has more on the campaign from Elmira that wants to see homes lit up green this Veterans Day.
Good evening. Businesses like Mag's Law Office in Elmira are giving away green light bulbs and encouraging residents to turn on the green light for our nation's veterans.
Veterans Day is a week away, and Mag's Law Office is encouraging residents to celebrate by giving away these green light bulbs.
I've personally given away over 25. I'm on to my second box.
It's all part of a national campaign called Operation Greenlight, which encourages people to recognize veterans by shining a green light in their homes.
So I thought it would be a great way to help that effort by just purchasing a bunch and handing them out to whoever wants to come in and display their support.
Brian Maggs is a veteran himself, having served 26 years in the Army. He says it's important for people to continue supporting the men and women who fought for our country.
It's really, really important around Veterans Day to recognize all the sacrifices that people have made for the freedoms that we enjoy.
With Steuben County recently declaring itself a green light county, Maggs hopes more people will join in during the week of Veterans Day.
County buildings, city buildings, other municipal buildings are going to be lit up, so hopefully there's a presence, and this is just the beginning of something to come.
Residents can pick up green light bulbs at Mag's Law Office on Baldwin Street. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Elmira.
Police investigating an early morning stabbing that happened near Elmira College. Officers were called to 500 College Avenue around 8 this morning after reports of a disturbance. Police found a man stabbed and a woman providing first aid. The man would later die from his injuries despite life-saving measures being taken. Investigators are speaking with the woman but are not seeking any other people at this time. Another big breakthrough on the treatment front. Pfizer says it has a pill that can virtually eliminate all COVID-related deaths. Brian Yennis has more.
Doctors could soon have another powerful tool to help contain the pandemic. Pfizer releasing new data Friday showing its anti-COVID pill cut hospitalizations and deaths by 89% in a clinical trial of unvaccinated people who had mild to moderate symptoms. Pfizer expects to apply for emergency use authorization from federal regulators soon, joining its competitor Merck, whose own anti-COVID pill is already under review.
This is one of the biggest medical advances for a single drug in virology in a long time.
But the FDA meeting on Merck isn't scheduled until the end of the month. And today's announcement comes just 24 hours after British regulators approved the Merck pill, putting pressure on the FDA to follow suit.
They are easy to administer. They're very different from monoclonal antibodies because they're orally given for 5 days. They are much cheaper and they can be mass produced.
Health officials say vaccination is still the best way to stop the spread. And rates are poised to jump up this week as children ages 5 to 11 roll up their sleeves. Some 28 million kids are now eligible, and the vaccine requires 2 doses with a 3-week gap in between. So children who get vaccinated before Thanksgiving will be fully covered by Christmas.
Definitely gonna go to bed breathing a little bit easier tonight, knowing most of our family has had at least 1 dose.
Health officials say so far there are no widespread reports of adverse reactions to the children's vaccine. In New York, Brian Yennis, Fox News.
Sunday marks the return of the New York City Marathon, the 50th anniversary. Cheryl Casone has a closer look at the iconic race.
How it started versus how it's going. The Big Apple gearing up for the 50th anniversary of the New York City Marathon this Sunday. The tradition started in 1970 with only 127 runners, including 18-year-old Joe Martino, visiting New York for the first time.
For some reason, we came together that day and we decided running a marathon in Central Park was a great idea. Coming across the finish line, I felt like I really accomplished something.
Over the next 3 decades, the marathon became an international event, drawing some of the best athletes from around the world. In 2001, the race brought people together just 2 months after the deadly September 11th attacks, proving the resilience of New Yorkers and helping the city heal. Kelly Kenny was supposed to be at the World Trade Center that morning. After losing so many friends and colleagues, she ran that year with American flags pinned to her jersey.
It was extremely moving. It was moving for people around us, and just love my city, love my country, and was happy to be able to do that at that time.
Fast forward to 2020. The pandemic tested New York again, forcing the Big Apple into a near shutdown. Still, the running community rallied together, with 16,000 people completing the race virtually, including me, when I finished on a rainy Sunday that would have been Marathon Day. And now, New York is back and ready to welcome 30,000 runners on Sunday, celebrating 50 years as one of the most iconic races in the world. With one special volunteer who can't wait to be back at the finish line for her 30th year welcoming exhausted runners, Barbara Rubenstein.
It's exciting every year. I love doing it. And I see a lot of the same people every year. It means everything to me. I think it keeps me going, keeps me young just to be here.
Come race day, 30,000 runners will cross the finish line behind me, marking the return of the marathon and the return of New York City. Cheryl Casoni, Fox Business.
President Biden reacting to the October jobs report, showing the U.S. economy added more than 500,000 jobs, which was more than economists expected. The positive news about the economy happening as lawmakers in D.C. gear up for a high-stakes vote on Capitol Hill on a massive domestic policy package, as well as a bipartisan infrastructure bill. Madeline Rivera has the latest from Washington.
There's optimism among House Democrats as they inch closer to voting on the bipartisan infrastructure bill and their social spending and climate plan. After months of stalled negotiations, they worked frantically this week to squeeze in key provisions in the latter package, like paid family leave and a compromise on a state and local tax deduction cap.
Today is going to be a bright day in America.
Rushing to pass the bill still violates conditions from moderates to evaluate its cost before pushing it through. If the House advances the legislation, it will likely face resistance and revisions in the Senate as tensions come to a head. Climate protesters seen here confronting Senator Joe Manchin, who opposes several of the clean energy policies in the House bill.
You can't look like you're in disarray, and that's how this looks.
Regardless, the White House will likely see the passage as a victory as the president struggles with sagging poll numbers. He's touting the recent jobs report, too. 531,000 jobs added last month, a rebound from disappointing numbers in August and September. The unemployment rate down to 4.6%.
This is a significant improvement from when I took office and a sign that we're on the right track.
The labor force participation rate, which reflects the share of adults with jobs or looking for work, has stood steady for 2 months in a row at 61.6%, suggesting the job market still has a way to go before it's fully recovered. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
President Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, arrived at Washington National Cathedral today to attend former Joint Chiefs Chairman and Secretary of State Colin Powell's funeral service. Family, friends, and former presidents Obama and Bush were also among those gathering to honor Powell's life. Becoming the first black national security advisor, the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and the first black Secretary of State, Colin Powell was known for breaking barriers and making history. He passed away from COVID-related complications last month.
The last night of his life, I walked in to see him. Now he was the one lying in an ICU bed. He could not see or speak to me. So I took his hand, just as he had taken mine decades before. I knew everything was not going to be okay. I wanted him to be at peace.
Powell was fully vaccinated, but was also undergoing treatment for a rare blood cancer, which suppressed his immune system. He was 84 years old. Day 5 of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial underway today in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Additional testimony and evidence were presented to the jury during the high-stakes trial. Thursday, jurors got the chance to see never-before-seen aerials from the FBI. It displayed what happened before, during, and after Kyle Rittenhouse fired his AR-15-style weapon 8 times. The shots killed protesters Jocelyn Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber and wounded another. Rittenhouse says he was simply protecting himself when he fired his weapon. If convicted, Rittenhouse faces life in prison. The Corning Museum of Glass is hosting a glass demonstration with science YouTuber Nick Uhas. Uhas hosts the popular Netflix series Blown Away, which features the Glass Museum, and he posts science education videos on his social media. Uhas will hold a live stream glass demonstration at the museum, followed by a meet and greet with fans. The demonstration is on Sunday from 1 to 2 in the afternoon. Still ahead tonight, cyber criminals beware. The U.S. Justice Department is coming for you.
In the days and the weeks to come, you're going to see more arrests, more seizures.
What government officials are doing to keep you safe online.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. What a chilly day it has been. And with a clear sky tonight, those temperatures will once again plummet down into the 20s. So 25 degrees is what we will start off with on Saturday. So it's a good excuse to just stay in bed and just sleep in. But then in the afternoon, we are expecting plenty of sunshine, and sunshine will abound over the weekend. In fact, I'm expecting a warming trend for this weekend and into early next week. In fact, I think we'll stay quiet and mild as high pressure continues to dominate our weather. So our trend for the next few days will be, again, those temperatures will be climbing. Even though it's going to be pretty chilly on Saturday, we are going to see those warmer conditions return. In fact, it might even be above normal by the middle of next week. So tomorrow, high pressure that left us with cooler conditions in the last couple of days will now move toward the Atlantic. We will be on the backside or the warmer side of this high pressure system, and so we are going to enjoy just a beautiful sunny day. But again, you are going to need that coat early in the day, barely above freezing at 9 o'clock with readings around 33 degrees, 49 at noon, and I think we'll climb into the 50s for some of us and then drop back down to around 46 degrees under a mostly clear sky at 5 o'clock in the evening. So if you're trying to get some yard work done, you will need a jacket or a sweater. Our dew points right now, 28 degrees. That is extremely dry air that is in place. As we move into the next few days, it will start to climb up out ahead of another storm system. So it's definitely dry, or, you know, we barely even have any moisture in our air. So that air is just really sucking all the moisture off of our skin. So we definitely need to use the lotion, but it will get a little bit better by your Wednesday. So as we head into the next few days, we are expecting the cool air to retreat, high pressure keeping us dry. But there will be another storm system coming our way by the end of next week, and it will bring the colder air back. Tonight, though, definitely cold, sub-freezing temperatures with lows around 25 degrees. Mainly clear conditions, plenty of sunshine tomorrow with a high around 53. And then we're expecting warmer conditions, a lot milder, a little bit above normal on Monday and Tuesday. Highs in the low 60s. Overnight lows will also climb up into the 40s early next week. But here comes our next storm system, which will bring those clouds back, cooler air, and the possibility of rain Thursday night into your Friday, possibly even into next weekend.
A major part of the workforce is missing. Kevin Cork has more on which demographic is opting out of a job and for what reasons.
The Census Bureau found 3.5 million working mothers became unemployed during the pandemic. But as the economy continues to recover, many of those women are simply not rejoining the workforce, choosing instead to care for their families.
Those childhood memories are deeply embedded in his soul. Those are the things that I realize once you get off that rat race treadmill, you miss.
According to data from LinkedIn, there were roughly 4% fewer women working in September of this year than before the onset of COVID-19. Fathers only saw a 1% dip.
It's usually typically the person with a lower salary that winds up doing some of the unpaid care work.
Although schools are open, parents fear they could close down again if virus levels spike. Many mothers say that's a risk they simply can't take, risking going back to work only to have to leave on a whim to look after their kids. The issue is highlighting a laundry list of decades-old problems facing women seeking employment.
If we had a robust child care infrastructure that was affordable, then I think we could start to talk about choices.
Meanwhile, a new study from McKinsey & Company shows 1 in 3 women over the past year said they were thinking of quitting their jobs, citing burnout. Economists also say more women are taking time to reevaluate their career opportunities instead of hopping right back into their pre-existing jobs.
The internet can seem like a lawless place, something top government agencies have zero tolerance for. Ashley Strohmeyer has more on the collective effort to target and arrest cyber criminals going after your personal information and federal data.
If you come for us, we're going to come for you.
Cyber attacks are a national security threat the Justice Department is not taking lightly. As federal officials say they're ramping up efforts to arrest anyone targeting American citizens, businesses, and government agencies online. And the department is already making good on those promises.
What we did last week is we worked with our international partners to get a Russian cyber criminal actor who was hiding out in South Korea and get him here to the United States to face justice. In the days and the weeks to come, you're going to see more arrests, more seizures.
Experts say the 2 most common types of attacks are cyber theft and ransomware, and anyone with an online presence could fall victim.
Cyber theft is the simple stealing credit card numbers, social security numbers. Ransomware is a relatively new type of criminal activity where the criminals encrypt your computer systems and then demand a ransom for you to get your access back.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken agrees. He recently launched the State Department's new Bureau of Cyberspace and Digital Policy and is calling on Congress to provide extra funding for the department's IT budget.
We want the internet to remain a transformative force for learning, for connection, for economic growth, not a tool of repression.
The State Department is now offering a $10 million reward for any information about the leaders of the cyber group DarkSide. The organization is blamed for a ransomware attack on Colonial Pipeline back in May, which crippled gas supplies for several states.
A Massachusetts family is lucky to be alive after the quick-thinking actions of their 9-year-old daughter saved them from carbon monoxide poisoning. Scott McDonald has the story.
As a powerful nor'easter raged across the area last week, this home in Brockton, one of many without power for days.
We decided to use the generator, and then we only used for about 10 minutes.
The mom of 9-year-old Jaylene Brando told me they thought the generator was in a safe position, but quickly she and others were overtaken by potentially deadly carbon monoxide.
I thought it was just a headache. Then after that, maybe 2-3 minutes, I didn't feel anything after that.
Do you think you went unconscious?
Yes, definitely.
That's when this smiling 4th grader sprung into action.
I heard my dad screaming and I went and I saw my mom passed out.
Staying calm, Jaylene grabbed her dad's phone to call 911. The problem, it was locked and he was overtaken by the odorless gas.
So I unlocked it by using my dad's face.
It was a race against time. Carbon monoxide inside of the home was measured at over 1,000 parts per million, potentially fatal exposure. And then it unlocked?
Yeah.
And what did you tell 911?
I told them that my mom wasn't breathing, and then they told me the address and they told me if I could talk to anyone.
Critical action, rescuing her 5 family members who were inside at the time.
I'm so proud of her, I cannot even describe how happy and proud I am.
Waking up in the hospital, Jaylene's mom believes her 9-year-old daughter saved her life.
Oh yes, she did. I wouldn't be here if she was in the house.
Coffee is often seen as a healthy part of someone's diet. New research suggests this might not be true. Research published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology has linked coffee intake to kidney disease. According to scientists, 2 metabolites from coffee, or products found after the body breaks down the substance, contribute to kidney failure. These same 2 metabolites also appear in the blood after smoking. On the other hand, the same body of research found one metabolite from the drink made the organ healthier. Researchers say further tests are needed to support the findings. Facebook wants to help groups flourish and develop with the latest features. The social media giant, now called Meta, is making some changes to its groups, including subgroups, pay systems, and fundraising. Organizations and teams utilizing Facebook groups can now create paid subgroups, giving these members access to exclusive content. These groups will also be able to host fundraisers, raising money for necessary projects. Facebook is testing out the new features in certain online communities. As of right now, the company does not plan to take any revenue from the features. A Massachusetts family is lucky to be alive after the quick-thinking actions of their 9-year-old daughter saved them from carbon monoxide poisoning. Scott McDonald has the story.
Experts say this holiday shopping season is going to be very different and chaotic. And one of the things that's happening now is these Black Friday deals are moving up a lot earlier than Black Friday. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Not even ready for it. Do not want to be ready, not yet.
It may be the first week of November, but some already buying gifts.
For my kids, you know, the wife, mom, yeah, brothers, sisters.
Experts predict this year will be
chaos. I mean, honestly, you got chaos.
In part because of supply chain issues and short-staffed stores.
You've got this vicious circle going around where the retailer is scared to death what they advertise. The consumer doesn't know when they go in the store if they're going to have it. If they go into some stores, there won't be any help at all.
Some retailers are offering Black Friday deals early. Walmart is doing its Black Friday deals for days events all month, both in-store and online. Early access to Macy's Black Friday sales started this week, and Target started offering deals last month.
They're advertising early bird specials or Black Friday deals, but they're not the early bird specials you used to see. So what's going to happen is they're going to say they're Black Friday deals, but they're going to be Black Friday deals without the quantity. So in case you get there, they don't have any, they can say, well, we never got them in.
Some shoppers say they're just going to wing it.
My kids are all grown, so they get what they get.
But don't wing it too long. Experts say if you see a gift you want now, grab it. It's also worth noting that in years past, a lot of stores have now started to stay open on Thanksgiving. This year, we're seeing a lot of those stores are going to be closed on Thanksgiving Day. A lot of these retailers started closing last year because of COVID, and it looks like they're going to keep it that way this year.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. An American classic makes it into the Toy Hall of Fame. The iconic American Girl dolls were inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame on Thursday. The dolls, created in 1986, are known for their recognition of America's past. Another classic toy, the board game Risk, is also being celebrated. The legendary board game was first released in 1959 and is known as one of the most important board games of all time. In addition, Sand, the world's most universal and oldest toy, also made the cut. The new class of 2021 joins 74 previous honorees.